I'm Tony Fast, and my family's been blessed to be able to farm in Montana for over 100 years now. A lot has changed in those 100 years, and it wouldn't be possible without the great team we have and blessings from our Savior Jesus Christ. Well, that water disappeared in a hurry. And I'll check the rain gauge at just shy of an inch. That radar looked like it was going to absolutely dump on us. Well, it did, but not as much as I thought. So we'll roll up some grain bags today. Got to do a little modifying on the grain bag roller yet, and then we'll finish at the last two. Well, we're over here trying to make a few modifications first on the bag roller, and I will show you what those are if they actually worked. This is a problem when it's twisted like this. It takes up a lot of space. Can't quite get a full 330-foot bag on here. That's unfortunate.
Hi. So here's a little update of what's happening right now. So me and my sister, me and I hate grammar. We went with my dad and Colin to go roll up bags. So we'll see if you can see them here. And if you don't know what grain bags are, they're long bags that have a lot of room in them, and you can store grain in them. And instead of using bins, it's our favorite way. I think. I don't know. But we like to be able to help Dad. Oh golly, he's here.
So one of the modifications I made was I added these tabs to hold this race in. Since it's a hardened steel race, the weld didn't hold very good, so that's fixed. And then on the inside, which you can't see in there, we actually added a kind of a bearing guard so that that bag doesn't push onto that bearing and make that a mess. So, as well as we built a little bit of a different bracket to help pull the chain straight on that shaft, not bend it. Version 2. Here's that collar I welded on here. That keeps this thing centered so that it pulls out a lot easier. Now the truck just showed up. I gotta go load him up for peas to go to Canada. We're getting close to done with the contract finally. I got a golden ticket. Sure is a nice, warm, calm evening. Well, this feels a bit weird to be in a swather finally. We're out here in this black hay trying to get the alfalfa moved off the ground onto a cut spot so that it can dry. We're pulling up so much new growth with the rake and the baler when we try baling it up that we're just moving it over on a spot we just swathed to make another cut with the swather, and then we have clean ground to put it on, and we're not going to get all that new growth in there. So far it seems to be working good. We're not sure when we'll be able to bale it. because we are getting a little bit of that new growth in there, but not too much left though. It's got a few windrows here for, this is just under a half mile. And then up there we've got, oh, just some low spots we gotta cut yet, so it won't take us too long. It's not too many acres that are lost, thank goodness, so we'll just see how this goes. Possibly baling it tonight. It's got a really nice breeze today, it's supposed to be 80, so that might dry it out enough that we can get that old stuff baled up. This is all what the baler would be picking up and putting in that bale. So if we can at least rake it, hopefully bale it tonight, tomorrow, never, I don't know. We'll see if this works. The hay itself is not horrible, but it ain't nice. Holy buckets, just tested a bale, 11 to 13 moisture, a few different spots. Carry on. Well, just finished all that nasty hay, baled up. We'll get that stacked in the morning. Just got a text message that truck, the last load I believe of FBN contracted yellow peas is about 20 minutes out. So I'll park this in the shed, grab all my stuff out of here, and see if I can get home before he does. He must know where he's going. Good night, windmill. Time to go stack some hay. Well, we have all that rained on alfalfa stacked. There's a few bales that were soft that I didn't have the chamber pressure adjusted up or the valve closed for that when I started baling. So we're gonna go rebale those, put those in the stack, then we're gonna clean up the baler. And then I'm gonna actually explain how a baler works for you. Well, I'm going to clean out the baler now since we've got 3 whole bales in, maybe almost 3 full bales in there. So I got the crusher here I'm going to release. And then we just run, oh, which one is it first? This one first. Now that'll trigger and it'll lift that bale. Now it's ready for the next one to come in. Well, that's a little shorty, isn't it? That is not gonna stack right. We might have a wreck here. We're gonna play Django when these dump out. This is probably long. That shouldn't be long, it should be normal length. I gotta go trigger the dump, so. Oh. So it's all cleaned up now, ready if it does rain on it. It's not going to make a mess of everything. I would kind of prefer rain to wash it up so it looks nice and new and shiny again. How does this thing work? Let's go through that. This thing is drove by this PTO shaft. That's the power that turns everything, and that's what makes it go. Also requires a few hydraulic remotes to run a few other functions on the baler. One of them is this pick up and down this pickup attachment. The pickup is what lifts the hay in, but we'll get to that. This flywheel is a big important part to the square balers. This thing spins, and it has it's real heavy, has a lot of counterweight that will keep the momentum going. Back in here, there are plungers. Back here you can see there's some kind of hay stuck in them there. These plunger arms will go back and forth. This gearbox will rotate this. They'll go back and forth, and that will push the hay back and forth like that. And it does that about 46, 48 times a minute. So that's moving pretty quick. The pickup down here lifts the hay up into the inside there, and it's all pretty tight to see on this newer baler. Old baler was a lot more wide open. This one feeds a lot better though. Once that hay gets up into this area, there's a stuffer fingers down there that will pack this full, and when it gets heavy enough, it has a spring tension here. This is how we adjust how many flakes or how the size of our flakes in our bale. Every flake is when the plunger hits back and pushes it in, they call that a flake. So the bale is made up of around 40 to 45 flakes, hopefully. There's spring tension on that. When this gets full enough, these big teeth here are gonna go in there and push that hay up. That lifts up at the same time as that plunger goes forward. That pushes that flake up in there, and the plunger hits it and shoves it into the bale. The bale builds pressure, has the resistance from the bale chamber back here. We have no bales in here now, but normally this is full of hay. There's hydraulic cylinders here, and that's what applies your pressure. I turn that on now while I see that's off. That squeezes that bale tight. When that bale's squeezed tight, there's resistance, and that's what builds that bale hard and packs it in. We're packing in around 1,400, 1,500 pounds in good hay. The stuff I just finished baling was running around 1,200, 1,150 to 1,200 pounds. Up top here, hopefully the wind's not too bad. Sorry if it is. This here saw blade looking thing is what spins, and that is the it spins this way. As that spins, it lifts this arm up, and that's how we determine our bale length. That will lift up and will, like right now it's in the trip position to tie a knot. It needs to be ran more to get this to drop back down. When this drops back down, it'll start back up, and as that bale turns, that wheel turns there, it will come through. The bale will come through the bale chamber, and this will drop, come back up like this is now, and then trip again. This is what ties the bales. All these are called a knotter. So this is the knotter stack, and there's every string has its own knotter. It'll tie 2 knots per bale. It ties a knot, like right now there's a knot already tied. When it makes a bale and everything trips and goes like it's supposed to, the needles from underneath will come up, will come through this opening right here, and like that it ties 2 knots. There's lots of little tools in there, little pieces. There's like a bill hook that kind of grabs the twine, and it will wrap it around and opens up again and pinches it, and then it pulls the center through, and it just super fast. It is quite amazing. Lots of gears, lots of timing. Everything has to be exactly in time or else it won't work. But that's for the most part, that's how the baler works. You saw the stacker work here a bit ago. One thing that I haven't mentioned is we do have load cells on this stacker. And these rollers, load cells are right down in here. And there is 4 load cells that will weigh every bale as it comes through. So in the monitor it tells me I think we're at 210 ton or something like that right now. It'll keep a running total of the field, and pretty handy. Nice to know how many tons we're putting up per day. Boxes here, that's where all the twine goes. Holds a lot of twine. So there's six strings on these bales, and 2 go to the top, 3 go to the bottom. There's one of these on the other side as well. So there you go.